Today we need to get into JIN's family, or specifically brother, having some words to say about a recent controversy. We also have the nurse who allegedly gave JIN an unauthorized vaccine coming out and talking. And then we have an update on a lawsuit with SM. So hey Dumplings, it's Dave. Decide hater or not, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on. Grab your dumplings, hey Spilling Mug merch, and let's go. If you're unaware, there was an alleged lawsuit from some EXO members, specifically Xiumin, Baekhyun, and Chen. They went ahead and filed a lawsuit to SM. The issue was over lack of transparency and slave contracts. The issue led to alleged employees writing about how badly EXO had behaved over the years, and their payment being a lot less than expected was due to them requiring more special treatment. And I don't say requiring in the sense like the members themselves were snobby about needing to have royal treatment, but things like security and private escorts are necessary when you're that famous. But all of these things being said are alleged, and we don't know if they're from a real SM employee. The part I can agree with here is that things are a lot more expensive than before, and simply the amount of money people are getting paid seems to be the same. So there could be an issue where people in the label will look at their check and say, why have I been working twice as hard lately, but my checks are half what they used to be? SM at the time of the initial lawsuit filing came out to say that these specific members were getting outside influence from other labels to file this lawsuit, but we actually don't know if that's true or not either. SM recently put out a statement to say that the issues have officially been settled and they all came to an agreement. They were able to resolve any conflict, and it seemed SM also agreed that they will be pushing EXO out with more comebacks more actively. And if there ever was an issue with money, being pushed out more actively would definitely help. SM also clarified in their statement that their stance and belief of outside sources trying to influence EXO was not true, and that they took that back. SM claimed that the entire time the dispute was happening, EXO members were extremely polite and were able to empathize with the position the label was in. What I mean by this is that in business, everyone is pretty much looking after themselves, so when disputing arguments, which is what a lawsuit is, it's important to understand why the other side may not be able to do everything you ask of them, and then arrive somewhere in the middle. But you have to be open to doing that, which SM said EXO members were. The reaction to this situation was very mixed. People were happy that everyone was able to resolve this quickly, but others thought it was weird that the situation ended so quickly, as these things tend to drag out much longer. Others claimed that EXO members probably were not as powerful as SM and didn't have the legal resources SM did, so they ultimately had to give up, which is just simply speculation and conspiracy. There's no evidence to support that. And then others conspired that the lawsuit was just noise marketing, given the amount of noise it created, and also them mentioning comebacks would bring fans to anticipate a comeback very soon. If you're unaware of the term noise marketing, it's a technique some brands use to generate buzz. So no matter what the media is saying about the brand, all of that is okay as long as it's being talked about. You might see a brand or company suddenly pop out of the news for a scandal, and then later they issue an apology. However, their name is already out there and everyone knows them at that point. But this is a crazy accusation to make for SM and EXO, because SM and EXO are already widely known as, so this would not be necessary to gain more attention. There are so many things that EXO members could do to make noise that would help them and be seen more positively. A dating scandal would honestly be better and louder. EXO collabing with a BTS member would work, and even just snapping a picture with BTS in the studio. So having SM release an initial statement claiming that EXO had outside influence doesn't exactly make EXO look good, and makes the members look flaky and very litigious, which makes other brands and companies not want to work with these members. On the other hand, having EXO members claim that SM was treating them terribly can't possibly look good for SM's investors. Both parties here really didn't have anything to gain from this alleged noise marketing, so I just don't think that's what it was. There seems to be a lot of problems lately with companies and artists, and I get that a lot. What I'm about to say is not about SM, but just in general. Companies are under a lot of stress lately trying to figure out how to increase profit in this highly competitive field that just became more competitive, and then dealing with the stress of a looming recession. There's a lot of issues involving money, and when artists start to care more about money, or labels do, everyone feels everything tighten up. Suddenly there's less employees, suddenly there's less leisure time to explore new places, because before the label might have a budget to allow some space in between travel. Not for free, but because an artist might have press Monday, and then maybe on Wednesday a media outlet that may not be huge but decently big wants to do an interview. And if the budget is not there, they may just skip that as opposed to letting the artist do that, which means on a Tuesday that they would normally be free free before Wednesday's press, and so they would have a lot of fun in that city on Tuesday. They would never experience that. And anyone here who has maybe worked in marketing or a high executive position in a company will know exactly what I am talking about and how it feels when budgets get tighter. But people are trying to call out quote-unquote bad behavior that is not bad and that is not good. It makes issues that deserve to be called out not taken as seriously. So what happened? Bruno Mars recently had a concert and several celebrities attended, and I mean a lot of celebrities attended. Among those attendees was of course BTS members. The area in which the celebrities were at was apparently a much nicer part of the venue, so it was closer to the stage, and I guess those people had a better view. People believe that those tickets were given to the celebrities. If you're not aware of this is not an illegal thing. If that happened, performers and I think crew too, but don't quote me on that, will be able to hold a certain number of tickets for friends and family. So actually a little life hack, let's say the show is sold out and you want tickets. If you go to the ticket office about maybe a couple hours before the show starts, if the artist and crew have unclaimed tickets, so family or friends did not show up, or the artist just took too many, they will release those tickets for sale within those last few hours before the concert starts. Doesn't always happen, and sometimes it's literally one ticket. But if you have the time and want to try, there you go. But this is not guaranteed, and the specific venue can have specific rules that may or may not allow this. Many bigger artists may opt to not claim any tickets for friends and family. So when they're sold out, it's actually all sold out. So you never know, and do that at your own expense. If you do want to check out some concert moments or performance moments with me and the rest of the community over on Patreon, make sure you check out the Patreon. I will link it in the description, and we have many tiers open that you can check out. It's all very cheap, but the paywall needs to be there due to the copyright. So I can't post it on YouTube, but I'd love it if you join me, and of course it supports the channel too. But the fans and concert goers were extremely upset and were harassing the celebrities for allegedly getting free or preferential treatment at Bruno Mars's concert. JIN's brother actually came out and put out a statement to deny those accusations. You know it's big when JIN's family had to come out and deny. JIN's brother claimed that the tickets were not acquired through anything illegal or even for free, as he specified they were not invitation tickets. And then he went ahead and apologized for the misunderstanding. People believe that many of the tickets were initially given to JIN, and then JIN couldn't attend, so he just gave it to his brother. While that has now been debunked, if that happened, I don't understand what the big deal is. Of course, if your brother is a world-renowned superstar, you as a sibling would feel a bit of a trickle-down effect. That's quite natural. However, one effect that I think armies were upset about was what happened when JIN was in the military. It was alleged that a nurse at the camp had illegally traveled over to JIN's specific camp and administered a vaccine. This is scary because she was allegedly not documented for the travel, and no one at any point knew where she was going. It was also believed that she lied about distributing medicine and the vaccine, which thankfully nothing bad happened, but if it wasn't something that was for bad intention, why lie so much and why go out of your way this much just to see JIN? Well, apparently we got a bit of an update on the situation. The alleged nurse denies all accusations and talks about how she was asked by another nurse to go over and help administer vaccines. She claimed that she had to do so many soldiers in that time that she actually never got a chance to chat or speak with any of the soldiers. There wasn't any time, and she didn't even recognize JIN because they were all moving so fast, plus everyone was wearing masks. Lastly, she claimed that she actually did receive permission, and I can believe this story. The media often likes to completely take things out of context, and it definitely could appear like how it was before. But this story actually makes a lot of sense. If there was a record of her giving out this many vaccines, there is definitely a chance she did not even recognize anyone, as she was probably going arm to arm. People were wondering if JIN was emotional about it, or if JIN responded being upset, because if he did, then we would know it's true. I actually think the lack of response from both HYBE and JIN would actually imply that maybe nothing of what the media was saying actually happened. I think JIN would be very upset if this was true, and I'm sure he'd find out before the media did, if it was true. Many were saying that JIN was probably sitting at the camp angry or crying, but I think he is okay and probably was not really bothered or had much thought on the situation. Let me know what you think. Make sure you check out my Patreon for more videos, link down below. Thanks for this lovely comment right here. Love you, bye.